Been practically round-the-clock coverage of the lawsuit against Fox by Dominion voting machines now that all the legal filings are in. And a judge in Delaware will give consideration this month to whether the case goes to trial. It's time for me to weigh in. I'm not sugarcoating the allegations in this $1.6 billion suit or the fact that Fox has taken a hit in the court of public opinion. But there was a crucial First Amendment argument here involving the coverage of unsubstantiated claims of 2020 election fraud by Donald Trump and his allies. Fox says Dominion has been cherry-picking quotes from depositions. Dominion has been caught red-handed using more distortions and misinformation in their PR campaign to smear Fox News and trample on free speech and freedom of the press. Now, I'm going to give you both sides, but let me say this. Fox's critics and competitors are denouncing the network, and many of them are rooting not just for Fox to lose the suit, but to be wiped out as a company because they can't stand the mostly conservative views of a relative handful of opinion hosts, the essence of free speech. The heart of Dominion's suit is a gap between some hosts privately saying they didn't believe Trump's fraud claims or didn't like the president and what was said on the air. Dominion argues Fox duped the audience to boost ratings. But while any company's confidential messages would be embarrassing, let me point out a couple of things you may not have heard in the barrage of negative coverage. Maria Bartiromo invited Dominion CEO John Poulos to come on her show, but he declined that and numerous other requests. Instead, she read a Dominion statement saying the latest flood of absurdities is deeply concerning. Only one Dominion spokesman agreed to a Fox News interview. Poulos said a month after the election that what you're missing is that no customer cares about the media. It's just more words from their perspective. And Bartiromo wrote, Dominion spokesman, that I'm not sure what to think about the totally unsubstantiated election fraud claims by Trump lawyer Sidney Powell, who she interviewed, and we will need to see hard evidence in the next 3 weeks. Some hosts dealt with the allegations skeptically, others did not. Fox aired a news conference, so did C-SPAN, by the way, in which Powell and fellow Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani made unproven claims that Dominion machines were created in Venezuela to help Hugo Chavez steal elections.
The Dominion voting systems, it can set and run an algorithm that probably ran all over the country to take a certain percentage of votes from President Trump and flip them to President Biden.
Rupert Murdoch said in an internal message that this was really crazy stuff, damaging everybody, I fear. Tucker Carlson privately described Powell as a liar, but publicly called her out after his show kept texting her for proof of her allegations.
She never sent us any evidence, despite a lot of requests, polite requests.
Now, the period under scrutiny began as Fox's ratings were dropping after the network projected that Joe Biden had won Arizona. And despite tremendous pressure, the network stood by the decision desk's accurate call. Internal messages made clear the top executives were concerned about alienating the heavily pro-Trump audience. Fox News CEO Suzanne Scott wrote, "We will highlight our stars and plant flags, letting the viewers know we hear them and respect them." Rupert Murdoch testified that some opinion hosts did endorse the unproven election fraud theories, but not all of Fox, he said, adding, "I would have liked us to be stronger in denouncing it in hindsight." Fox challenges to the Dominion claim of $1.6 billion in damages is inflated, given that a private equity firm bought 3/4 of the company 5 years ago for $38 million. Legally, Dominion must prove Fox acted with malice or reckless disregard for the truth. There was, to be sure, straight reporting by the news division, which also caused some friction. But the fact that some people in the chain of command privately dismissed the fraud claims as nuts or outlandish or insane doesn't necessarily mean Fox couldn't cover and comment on the extremely newsworthy spectacle of a president saying an election was stolen. That's why this case is a major test of the First Amendment. And a footnote, Fox Corp CEO Lachlan Murdoch said the other day the network has an obligation to report the news fairly. I think a lot of the noise you hear about this case is actually not about the law and is not about journalism and is really about the politics. That, he said, reflects our polarized society. Next on Media Buzz, journalists try and fail to get